we're exactly when we needed to be to make people be like, where is KNMC's
90.1
FM average rates?
It's right here. 3 o'clock. 3:01. Sorry. We broke the microphone.
We were in here. So that's what counts. We were here.
We're always here in spirit.
But yeah, community calendar. I feel like I should read this.
What is it?
Because this is NSUN College Radio.
Mm-hmm.
This is a student and community member run radio station. That's why you're allowed to be here. Because you're a community member.
Sweet. And I've got mad connections.
There are scholarship opportunities available for student DJs, hence why I am here. You can also tune in at msun.edu/KNMC. But yeah, just if there's any students that are listening, I know that there's opportunities available here for them to get on the radio and do what we do, and possibly be better than average.
You can't be better than average. Because then we're out of a job.
Well, the greatest thing about being average is people don't expect too much. They expect sometimes it's going to go down. So, community calendar, what we got here? So I'm just going to point this out because this is the Havertz Daily News. They have written it here Monday, August 29th, and I know that that's wrong.
That's not even possible because they're off by 2 days.
So, yeah, today's the 29th. So tomorrow, I'm hoping is when this actually is. There'll be free music with Mary Stevens playing the piano at 10:30 a.m. at Haverhill County Library. Everybody is invited. Also on Monday, August 30th is my birthday, so that is the best day.
Yeah. You and I are going to be the same age for about 9 days.
Yeah. I'm still going to be younger, though.
But you're still 37.
It's just a number.
But except when it's me, then I'm old.
What else we got? We got Wednesday, September 1st, Books and Babies at 10:15 a.m. Haverhill County Library. Oh, and story time, of course, will be happening as well there. Thursday, September 2nd, Lego time at the
Haverhill County?
Hill County Library.
No, I like Kill County better.
Yeah.
Sounds way more exciting.
It does. It sounds like something out of a movie.
Right.
Like one of the Purge movies. Or
We're from Kill County.
Nobody comes there.
Coming from Kill County. We're going to build with Legos.
I don't think you should go to the Lego.
No?
No, I think if you talk like that, the kids will...
My wife told me an interesting thing that your daughter, when she's playing Minecraft, she actually crafted a swimming pool full of lava. And apparently she summons kittens and then throws them into the pool.
So she's getting very creative with it, which is one of the reasons why I love that kind of game.
Right.
And she made a lava pool, yes. And what had happened is she found the spawning eggs for the cats, and she started spamming them. And there were so many cats, like her house was filled with cats. And one of them fell in. And it sparked the idea bubble that to get rid of the cats,
you just throw them in the lava
you
pit?
punch them into the lava pit and they burn and disappear. So once she got rid of the cats, she then made like a wall so that she could put them in there and they couldn't get away. So she would spawn one and then punch it. So she made like a sacrificial pit for cats.
She sacrificed. So the great volcano does not destroy the world.
Yeah.
I must sacrifice a kitten every day.
I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but like that, I was like, that's ingenious and it's morbid.
Well, if she starts to do this with your dogs off your deck in the back.
Yeah. Well, because if she plays that game, she runs around and she'll be like, stupid llama, and then punch it in the face. So she's like punching animals in the face. I'm like, doesn't that hurt them? And she's like, no. So I think she's still at that age where she just doesn't really grasp like life and death stuff.
That takes quite a while. I mean, even up to 8 to 10-year-olds, you still don't you have a tough time grasping the concept of death as what it really is.
Oh yeah, because it is weird when I see like the kids playing and they'll say stuff. They'll be like, "Oh, you died," and they just look at it from a video game perspective.
You respond.
Yeah, just come back.
Yeah. Bigger, stronger, better.
Not in Dark Souls.
No.
You come back more knowledgeable, but not stronger because you
Don't do that. You will die.
Yeah.
So, interesting fun fact. I almost got in the wrong car on the way here. That was good.
Yeah.
My defense was the exact same make, model, and year as my car.
Yeah,
Except,
but you also went to get in the passenger side
I know.
of your own vehicle.
I thought you were-
I was driving.
Yeah, right. I've done that before. So I lived in Dickinson, North Dakota about 10, 15 years ago. It's been a while. Anyway, I was driving a little silver Yaris, and I'm coming out of Walmart, and I go get in this car, which I think is mine. I sit down, and I'm like, there's something wrong. Like, my seat's not where it's supposed to be. And why is the inside of my car so clean? And then I put the key in the ignition and it won't turn. I'm like, I'm not in my car. And first of all, I blame the person who left their car unlocked.
Oh yeah, it's their fault. They're the reason you got.
But I'm just like, how awkward would that have been if the owner of that car had showed up and thought I was trying to steal their car?
Excuse me, sir. What are you doing? Trying to start my car, dude.
Yeah, because first of all, no one wants to steal a Yaris. I mean, you drive a Prius, which is pretty wimpy, but the Yaris is on wimpiness scale pretty much there. They're pretty tiny little cars. Not exactly the coolest thing in the world to steal.
My Prius is a Prius C hatchback,
Mm-hmm.
and it is amazing.
Did
you see the girl that I picked up in it?
You married her before you bought that car.
My point is that she knew I was a Prius fan. I just like that I only have to fill up my car because we only drive it in town.
Right.
I only have to fill up that car like once every 2 months.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? Like if you're like, oh, Ford Mustang or a Yaris, which one am I going to steal?
The Yaris. No one expects the
No
Yaris.
one expects the Yaris. Like, wow.
So what did you steal today, a Yaris?
Got $10 for it. They gave me $10 and told me to put it back.
No, please keep it. We get more in insurance.
So, anywho. So what should we talk about first? Do you want to talk about conspiracy things first, or do you want to talk about the lack of stuff I found on the internet?
I don't know. I did take notes from last time.
Right.
Just so that I could try to remember some things rather than just going off random memory.
Yeah. So we'll do this real quick. We play a lot of golf, right? You play golf in the rain, right? We ain't afraid to play in the rain.
Yeah, as long as it's not like crazy rain.
Yeah, or lightning.
Nah, I don't even care about that. I'm just gonna let lightning roll.
Well, check this out. So I found this. I don't know why it popped up in my news feed, but it did. Over the years, countless buzz-killing parents have likely told their children they're more likely to be struck by lightning than become Major League Baseball players. Well, against all odds, that's exactly what happened to Ray Caldwell on August 24th, 1919. He was known as a talented pitcher, but he was pretty good, but he didn't put together a very good career because he liked extracurricular nighttime activities.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'll
Been
happen.
there.
But during August 24th, 1919, he was on the mound pitching a game and was struck by lightning. Now, here's the crazy thing. He finished the game.
Well, he was probably faster.
Like,
Supercharged.
right? Like he gets blasted by a bolt of lightning, knocked unconscious, right? And it comes to, after a while, and he finished the last game, or the last couple innings of the game. Like, I consider myself a pretty tough guy, but I'm like, if I get struck by lightning, I'm just going to take the rest of this one off, guys. Oh, I'm sorry.
I would first test to see if I could electrocute people. You never know. Superpowers, right?
Right.
Can you imagine that you're
So now when he was pitching balls of lightning across the plate.
Just imagine if you got hit by lightning, you're like, do I have a superpower? And you touch somebody and you gave them like a shock. You're like, I think I do.
Well,
and your superpower is literally just to give little tiny shocks.
Well, here's the thing. Like, nobody questions you for being a wuss if you get hit by lightning and you decide to take the rest of the day off.
Shut up. If you got hit by lightning and you were fine and you stood up,
how are you?
But you're up and you're like, I don't know how that really hurt, but I think I need to go home. If you were just walking like that, I'd be like, you pansy.
I mean, like, of the forces of nature, being struck by lightning has got to be one of the worst ones. Besides being thrown into a volcano, we'd have to talk to your daughter's kittens about that, but
they don't feel a thing.
They just.
She's Oh, and we got it on her tablet for her birthday.
Oh,
so like on Wednesday, we gave her her birthday with just us. That's why, like, at our party table, we didn't give her any presents from us.
You guys bad parents.
Well,
like presents at a birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go.
So we got her Minecraft. First thing I hear her is she's like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "What happened?" She's like, "It's burning," and the whole place she had put lava, like, on all the trees, so they're all burning. She's like, "Oh well," and went over and started building somewhere else.
So if you ever want to question your toughness, just go against this guy. Does it hurt so bad that you can't finish? Well, the guy got struck by lightning and pitching out of the game.
It'd be hard to happen, but if I got hit by lightning playing hockey.
There are instances of lightning during winter.
But I mean, if that happened and I got up and I felt fine, just, a little sore, I'd keep trying to play.
Well, here's the thing. Like, you may feel fine. Most people, like a lot of people nowadays, you wear one hour on smartwatches that tells you. What do you think that dude's heart rate was after he got hit by lightning?
I guess it depends. It might have jump-started it. Maybe it was slower.
Right.
Gave him the jolt he needed to finish the game.
Yeah. He had pitched 8 2/3 inning and then got struck by lightning and finished off the final third. 1/3 with 1 1/3 inning.
Well, how would that happen? Like, I don't know if whether he was just standing there, but can you imagine you pulled back, you're about to pull it forward, you get hit by lightning, and the ball drops and rolls. Does that count as a pitch and you can run?
So, okay. According to this, the bolt of lightning didn't actually hit him. Weird. Like, how does it miss? Like, he's the tallest thing.
Yeah.
On the baseball field aside from the stands. It hit the ground near him. He was unconscious for 5 minutes. Like, is there a more powerful force on Earth than a bolt of lightning?
Our wives?
Okay, yeah. Am I more afraid of a bolt of lightning or my wife? My wife, definitely.
Right? I'd rather get hit by a bolt of lightning than feel the wrath.
Yeah. The Titans are coming.
I know how I felt today when I do that fork thing.
You didn't even mean to do that, which was hilarious. Like, you're like, oh, if anything, it's going to hit her like in the chest or in the arm or something. And no, you smoked her right in the forehead from 15 feet. And I've never seen Sammy look mad before.
Oh, that wasn't even mad. That was the.
You're lucky she didn't have the knife in her hand.
That was the playful mad, Sammy. That's the look she gives me when she gives me purple nurples.
So, and there are theories, though, about this guy that the bolt of lightning had actually hit him. But because it's happened so long ago, there's no footage or anything, so you have to go by what people said. Some people say that he actually got hit. He said it felt like someone hit him on the head with a wooden board. Well,
So the mob was after him.
Right.
He's like, I've been here.
After the game, he claimed to have discovered a burn mark on his chest, which he attributed to the lightning strike.
That's pretty common.
Right. I mean, I've been close to a lightning strike. Like it's like because I was getting ready for football practice my senior year or something like that, and out my kitchen window was a big empty lot, and I'm just I'm tying my shoes and putting my coat stuff on, and it looked like it was going to rain, and all of a sudden a bolt of lightning hits. Right, it was about 100 feet from where I'm at, but the shock wave that came, like, I mean, I'm surprised it didn't shatter the windows of the house.
Well, you do know, like, if I ever got, so I had a kidney stone, and
I went over there to see what happened to where it hit. There was a big giant hole in the ground where it had burned a hole in the ground.
You know that there's people that go around and they collect
the glass, that it creates, and because it instantly flash melts everything. I mean, it's plasma, dude. That's the sun.
I mean, people do get the way that you survive it is if it travels through. It continues, right? So people that usually die, well, most people do die from them, but the reason why they usually die is that something made it so it didn't continue.
Or the severe burns.
Yeah. But if I ever got hit and I survived,
Barry,
you would never, like, you'd be like, oh, my back hurts there. I'd be like, I got hit by lightning.
You really would be the silver fox.
Yeah. And I want to get hit by lightning.
No, you don't.
Well, I want to survive. What, you can't just choose?
No. So you go,
roll the dice.
You're about to get hit by lightning. Would you like to survive, yay or nay? Yeah. Oh, I had the wrong one. Yeah. No, too late.
How did you survive
You
that?
picked
I
me.
checked yes.
So there you go. Well, that's kind of interesting. But we did watch some interesting conspiracy yet again.
This was disappearances.
Famous disappearances. There was a few of them. One was the disappearance of Charles Lindbergh's son. If you're really, really old, you may remember all that, but I doubt it because that happened in like 1921.
1927. I took notes.
There you go. So you have to be, but it was really big at the time. And then the one everybody doesn't necessarily know about, but they know the name, the disappearance of, I can't remember his name right now.
Well, there was Lord Lucan.
Not Lord Lucan, that guy.
There was.
He's buried
Jimmy
in
Hoffa?
Jimmy Hoffa. He's buried in Giant Stadium. They just got to go find him.
Oh yeah. They still haven't found him, right?
They haven't found his body. So let's start with Lord Lucan.
Yeah. Well, this one is.
That's cute. You took notes on your phone.
I did.
With your cute little stylus.
Yeah. Jealous.
Yeah, because I would never take notes.
I bought this specifically for while I was coaching because it makes it really quick to draw. I could draw mini plays on it.
Nice.
But I don't know how to coach.
Nope. Easier.
Anywho.
Lord Lucan, right?
Mm-hmm. So he had a bit of a gambling problem.
He gambled like $2.1 million in today's money.
3.5 million.
Yeah, right.
And
so his wife wants to divorce him.
Yeah, his wife wanted to divorce him. He wanted the kids though.
Right.
I knew back then that wouldn't happen.
So this is his master plan, and he's a lord. He's a royal, like he's royalty, right? He's a lord.
He was a lord, so that just meant that he owned land.
Right. Oh, so he's in. Let's face it, and not much has changed. I mean, you're a lord or whatever.
You're in the higher.
You're in the high end, right? You're up there. His master plan is to murder his wife so he can get his kids to himself.
Yes, so that she wouldn't have.
Where is the flaw in this plan?
Well, there was no flaw in the initial plan. The flaw was announcing it to the people he was gambling.
Right? He's sitting at the poker table with his buddies.
Because apparently he talked about this at in-house casino
Right.
that he played at all the time, where he would talk to everyone about how to do it, and he made a plan with the people
Right.
that he had lost money to and owed money to.
We're gonna do this. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna bash her over the head with a wooden stick. So
he went in.
that famous night comes along, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Goes
Whacks her in the basement kitchen. I didn't know they had more than one kitchen.
Yeah, just wham.
Boom, gone. Beats her to death with a stick.
Goes running out.
Whoops.
That was the nanny.
Forgot to confirm who he whacked with a stick.
Well, in his defense, while they were together, because remember they weren't living together,
Right.
the nanny didn't work that night. But,
She wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, so little did he know that she might have changed schedules when he left.
So here's my conspiracy theory on top of this whole conspiracy theory. The wife knew.
Oh, yeah. Wife was like, I don't want it to pay the nanny this week. A little low on funds.
So the nanny's gonna work tonight and get bludgeoned to death with a stick. But anyway, so he's on the run, and he knows he's in deep doo doo because he smoked his nanny with a stick. It wasn't even
It was like a club or something.
Yeah, it was just
Like something you'd beat a fish when you
Yeah.
pull it out of the water.
a billy club, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess, but those are more not like a police baton, but
Yeah, no.
they didn't really show it. They just showed a round dowel-like stick covered in blood, and yeah. But so he's got to run, and he runs. Now the conspiracy theory is that he is still alive.
Well, there was multiple, remember? Because there was
Because this happened, 1970? Wasn't that long ago.
I didn't keep that many notes.
What's his name?
Lord Lucan?
Well,
we forgot his name already.
Well, he's got a weird name.
He was the 7th Earl of Duncan.
He supposedly died in 1974, according to Wiki. That's where Wiki's wrong. He's alive. Apparently, in Britain, they still have signs up everywhere.
That they spotted.
Because they see him all over the place. He just.
Well, they never found a body,
No.
and so he either survived, but a lot of people believed the other conspiracy that due to his gambling debts and everything, and then this falling through, that the mob finished him off.
Right.
Because apparently, back then, if you're in private gambling establishments, you're in with the mob.
Right. So the last confirmed sighting of Lucan was at 1:15 a.m. November 8, 1974, as he exited the driveway of the property of Maxwell Scott property in his friend's Ford Corsair. According to the conspiracy theory, that he had so many connections that he had a guy set up to take him on a boat, get him out of England. But when was he going to get his kid? Was he just going to come back like, oh my God, my wife is dead?
Well, remember, the guy that took him out of England, he actually hired him to get rid of the body.
Right.
They realized it wasn't his wife. They assumed that he went to that guy, and then that guy just got him out. And then that's where the mob jumped in, where he wanted to come back because he missed his kids. And they said, you can't. And he kept wanting to, so they just...
Right. So if I'm the head of that mob, I'm like, that guy owes me $3 million, murdered the wrong person. He's putting a lot of heat on. No, you're done. You're done.
He seems like not a good guy to have around.
And the guys that they're talking, and the historians are like, there are a lot of bodies that have been dumped in this part of England that are never found. They just throw them off the dock.
I still think the weirdest part for me was, remember, he murdered the wrong person, goes to leave. His wife comes in. He somewhat attacks her, but doesn't actually try to kill her.
She gets away, yeah.
Right? But he could have.
Oh, yeah.
Because, she's still alive.
What? She's still alive? Whoa.
And she said that he, pushed her and hit her and then ran, didn't finish. So, why?
What, right? You could have killed them both and still got away with it. Because you're he's an earl, right? A lord.
It makes me feel like
He can just go, no, it wasn't me. It was some lowly servant.
Yeah, my wife did it.
Pushed and then bludgeoned herself to death with the same
She's
thing.
a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I told Sammy, I was like, back in the day, I could have done whatever I wanted. Because if you tried to get me in trouble for anything, I'd just say you're a witch.
This just goes to show, and we're going to find this out as we go with the rest of these disappearances. It is extremely hard to get rid of a body nowadays. Because what's funny is, like, you hear all the time, like, oh, this person was missing for so many years. Found by a weird guy walking his dog in the dumbest place ever, stumbles upon a body.
Middle of the Amazon, a man looking for rare beetles.
Like, I was walking my dog through the Florida Everglades, water up to my belly button, infested with alligators and snakes. Dog found a body.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not normal to find a body out here.
Right?
Usually the crocodiles eat it, so I knew it was fresh.
So that's that one. And then they jumped into the Lindbergh baby, right?
Yeah, so Charles Lindbergh.
So do you think that dude's still alive? Before we jump to the Lindbergh baby?
Lucky Lucan? That was his gambling name.
Yeah. Well, not so. Well, apparently at the beginning of his gambling.
Oh yeah, that's what got him addicted.
All right.
But do I think he's still alive? No. I honestly, I'm thinking from me as being a father, if something made it so that I would go to kill to be able to keep my kids, but then I wouldn't be able to see them.
Do you think his wife had him hit?
I almost think that he just would have committed suicide. Right? So let's say he went in, he was ready to kill, and adrenaline kicked in, he just hit the first head that he could see.
Right? He did. That's probably what he did.
And then once it was done, it went through his brain being like, I can't believe I just did this. That's why he couldn't kill his wife when he ran into her, because he couldn't believe he just killed somebody. And it takes a lot on somebody, especially if you look at a lot of military guys. When they come back, if they have done stuff like that, it's hard for them to get over.
Yeah.
So even though this is cold-blooded murder.
Preempted murder. He was, like you said, probably standing by that bottom of that door, waiting for someone to walk through and just boom.
Right? And then once it happened, once the adrenaline from it wears off for even a sec, you might go, oopsie.
My bad. Yeah.
Because, let's be honest. We've probably in our lifetime, I don't think we've murdered somebody, but we've had that fit of rage where we did something that we were so mad that we did something and we went, I can't believe I did that. I was just
my hand's got a few bumps and bruises in it over the years.
Right?
Although I've learned to control that because that hurts.
I know,
my biggest issue was hitting stationary objects that weren't supposed to move and still don't. Yeah, painful.
I just know that for me, Sammy ran into it once where we were dealing with a whole bunch of stuff this one day, and then our toilet clogged. And
it was just the littlest thing that sets you off.
I was in there knee deep trying to unclog it because it was
Don't
bad.
call me if your toilet backs up.
It was bad, and I'm in there, and then she came in and said something, and I responded, and later that day, she told me it was the first time she was ever terrified of me. And I was like, what? And I was like, Jesus, I must have been pissed.
Yeah. I don't remember the last time I've been that mad, but there have been times where I've been just absolutely fired up.
But anyway,
Lindbergh's kid. Now this one's crazy.
Because he was the first person to go across the
Atlantic solo, right?
So he landed. He was a superstar,
big time. Well, and so everybody knows.
That was in 1927.
Yeah, everybody knows that Lindbergh. He's super famous, but being 80 years ago, people don't realize he actually wasn't that good of a guy.
Yeah.
He was he was a narcissist. Mm-hmm. And
had to be in control.
Oh yeah, everything. And that comes to show in this case. So what happens is one night, somebody sneaks in, steals the Lindbergh baby.
Yeah, what was he? He was only
he was 2?
Yeah, he was really young still.
2 or 3, not very old. disappears, right? And then within a few hours or a few days, there's a ransom. They want, I don't remember the amount because it's 1920 something, so it's probably not going to be that, it's going to be a lot, but not.
It was like
I think it was like
$100,000.
like a $5,000 or $10,000 or something. It's something weird. But so, and this is where the narcissism comes in. Lindbergh handled his own negotiations for the return of his kid.
They handled negotiations, wanted to be the person that dropped the money off, did every media report of how the case was going.
Right. Like he was involved in and not like the mourning parent who's like, we just want our kid back.
And that's what people were confused with too, because he didn't look like he was mourning at all.
No, he looked fine. Like nothing was wrong. He's like, no, I'm going to make sure I want to be in charge. I want, talk to these people. He did talk them down in their ransom number.
Mm-hmm.
You're bargaining, I guess.
Hold on.
Well, you want 5? How about 2.5?
You got my kid. You're threatening to kill him. Let's half it.
Right. So they pay the ransom, right? And there's marked bills, and they eventually, and this is weird. I don't know what it is, guys. Every time we do a conspiracy, Nazis are involved.
Yep, they're involved in everything. They have underground tunnels here.
Run underneath the school?
Right. Well, they have the underground little area that you can go and do the thing.
No.
Yeah. Here in town?
Oh, have her beneath the streets.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me started.
You know those blocked off areas now?
Yeah.
On the other side, those are Nazi camps.
I won't talk about it. That thing irritates me so much. Anyway. People like, have her lived underground. Didn't.
Mole people.
Your house burned down. I'm going to live underground. What? Anyway, so Lindbergh, they find this guy. He's a German. They didn't say he was a Nazi.
Yeah, they hinted
at it. But he was found spending some of the some of the marked bills. And he was found guilty. Duh. He's the only guy they had.
But he didn't say anything.
No, and he would admit to nothing.
Yeah. He wouldn't admit to anything.
They had him in the chair. They had him strapped. He was sentenced to death in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
And he still said nothing. Like, not even in his own defense. He didn't say a word.
Which is also weird.
Right? It was crazy. So, either he couldn't talk, didn't want to talk, or he was guilty, or he was absolutely innocent and knew, I'm German in the United States in 1927, I'm going to die. Like, what do I do? So.
But this was another one of those instances where eventually they found.
They did find the body, but here's where the conspiracies kick in. Not only do a lot of conspiracy theorists believe Lindbergh was in on it, they believe Lindbergh had done it because there is no forced entry.
And this is where the Nazi stuff comes in too.
Right? There was no forced entry into the room. There were no fingerprints anywhere. Not even Lindbergh's fingerprints were in the back.
Or his child.
Yeah, like somebody had wiped the whole room down.
And that takes time.
Mm-hmm.
I have enough time just dusting.
You just scrub to get oils and stuff off things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fact, well, like, okay, technology back then, they probably missed a print or two. Like, if they go through and do this now, Lindbergh is guilty.
Yeah, but I mean, even back then, they should have found one.
Right. But they find the bait. This comes down to some weird dude walking his dog.
He wasn't walking. He was driving a delivery truck
down
and saw what he thought was a doll.
Right. Weird.
Like who drives? And especially because you got to remember, he'd be driving. The steering wheel would be on the far side away from the ditch.
Hey, whoa. Back up. There's a doll. My kid needs a new doll laying in the dirt.
Yeah, like I anybody that's listening to this, think back to any time that you've stopped in the middle of the road
for garbage
and been like, I could use that. I think I saw what I think I could use that.
It's a piece of garbage. Weird.
Especially a doll. A dirty doll.
But anyway, he gets up to it and he realizes it's not a doll. Now, they have confirmed that Lindbergh's child had some issues.
Yes.
It had I don't know what the disease. It had some weird disease. The baby's head was abnormally big. It had thin bones. It had all kinds of weird things. So they went through and did the autopsy on this kid, and he's got missing internal organs. And we're gonna get more into this. Why the internal, like just specifically weird ones were missing.
Yeah,
because they were like, the guy was like, well, it looks like it was eaten by an animal. Animals don't go in and go, well, I just want the gallbladder or.
Well, yeah, that's weird. Like, I mean, there are animals that they'll go for a liver. Because livers are
right.
But remember, they said that nothing else was damaged.
Nothing was taken. Yeah,
so it was like if it was like, say, a wolf.
Oh, they rip all that apart and then take what they want, right?
It would have been all over. But.
So what they believe now is not they, just these conspiracy theorists, that Charles Lindbergh is actually involved.
And he was one of those
with the Nazis in creating the perfect. Because Lindbergh was a blonde, blue-eyed, perfect specimen. And his son was not.
Yeah, because what was it? They also said that they thought that there might have been the chance that in the kidnapping, the kid had been killed because he had a giant soft spot still.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be careful when they have that. And if the kidnapper didn't know,
or the bumped into something,
the guy that they hired to do it so that they could do tests to make his kid the perfect specimen.
So what I'm thinking, this is just me. Maybe they were doing these tests beforehand, right? Interuteral, like they had been performing these. Let's make the perfect specimen. So we got Lindbergh, the ultimate specimen, blonde hair, blue eyed. Well, let's do some gene therapy or genetic mutation while the kid's interuteral, and this is what gives him all of these weird diseases and deformities. Because apparently the kid had all kinds of weird problems.
Mm-hmm.
He was just frail. And so maybe it's the Nazis going, well, we don't want this to get out. Like, how do you explain these weird things?
Yeah.
And so they went through and they took out these special body parts to take a look and see what happened with. I mean, it's just all around weird. And I know right now, if this had happened now, Lindbergh is going to jail for the death and kidnapping of his own son. There's no way it's anybody else.
Well, the weird thing too, I remember them talking about with the German that I'm going to say framed for it.
Yeah, like
he didn't have any more of the money.
No,
so they couldn't find any more of that money.
Somebody slips him $20 on the street. He goes to buy a pack of smokes, and it's one of the marked bills. You kidnapped Lindbergh's kid.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, if we were back in those times and we wanted to do something bad, all we'd have to do is just make sure that we found somebody that was German that we could pin anything on.
Oh yeah, like, it was just terrible. So yeah, that's Lindbergh's thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because then the last one was the Jimmy Hoffa.
Yep. The man, the myth, the legend, Jimmy Hoffa, leader of the Teamsters.
Yeah. Then he wasn't. And that was the problem.
Right. So Hoffa was a union leader.
Well, the weird thing about this one, though, like that I want to point out, is this whole episode was disappearances.
Mm-hmm.
They found him.
They never found his body.
Yeah, remember? Because they thought he died of a heart attack off of the boat.
They never found his body.
I thought they did.
Hoffa's body never recovered.
Oh. Well, there we go.
Didn't you watch Bruce Almighty?
Yeah.
You finally find Jimmy Hoffa?
Oh, with the dog?
With the dog, that's Hoffa's body. And a complete set of dental records confirming his... Hoffa is crazy. Hoffa has connections all the way up to the president.
Yeah.
And let's face it.
To where he actually would have conversations with Nixon.
One of the greatest and most respected presidents ever.
Yeah, he did everything correct.
Right. Right, he did nothing wrong.
I'm not a crook.
He's not a crook. I wasn't breaking into the Democratic headquarters for nothing. I was looking for juice.
They have the best popsicles in town.
effective tomorrow, I will resign my residency. Because apparently you guys call BS on everything I just said.
He was an actor. It's not a very good one.
That wasn't Nixon, that was Reagan.
Oh, that's right. I'm Canadian. All your presidents are the same. I remember the first time somebody came up to me and was like, "I'm not a crook," and I was like, "Is that like every president?"
You got to do this, because then you get it.
Oh. The 2 fingers out?
Yeah. So Hoffa, big union guy. He was in charge of all of the trucking industry. So one word from Hoffa, and the main way stuff got shipped was through semi trucks, right?
Yeah.
One word, boom, nobody moves. He said that's a lot of power for one guy to control.
I can't even get my kid to do that.
Right, to control the union, to control like the world, the states' commerce like that.
Yeah.
Like people get mad now because Amazon's 2 days late. Like I remember as a kid when you order something off a cereal box, it took 4 to 6 weeks.
But you also had to have like 4 cereal box tokens to get it.
4 to 6 weeks after initial, and you had to pay shipping.
Shipping was like $1.
So everybody's like, "Oh my god, my Amazon's late." Dude, you ordered like 2 days ago. Just cool, right? We're a now. We need it now. So, but anyway, Hoffa, and he ends up going to jail. What's he go to jail for? Like he had all kinds of weird things.
He was taking the Teamsters pension money. And,
That's right.
And giving it to people or buying things that he wanted.
Right.
And it was in the billions or something. He took like so much money.
Yeah, right. And it ended up getting to the
13 years.
Yeah, 13 years in prison.
But then a
call to the president of the United States gets him out after 5 years. He was sentenced to 13 years and only served 5.
Was it 5 or 3?
He didn't serve long.
No, it was drastically reduced.
And they have the phone call recording of this, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll make sure we'll get this taken care of."
Yeah, but it wasn't with Hoffa. It was with one of the guys when they were talking about trying to get his sentence reduced. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'll look into this. I'll get this done for you."
Yeah, because they needed Hoffa because he knew where all the money was.
Yeah, but in the interim, they had that other
and they were throwing a little bit someone's way. He's not a crook. And so, yeah.
But yeah, then Hoffa made another guy the president while he was gone. And the mob liked him better because they could control him better.
Right.
So when Hoffa came out, they didn't like the idea of him coming back in because he was actually, bad as he was, he wouldn't agree to all the stuff they wanted.
No. So to get to where, Hoffa goes into this, I don't remember the circumstance. He ends up going into this weird meeting with a guy, right? Mm-hmm. He goes out and he gets into the car, and he's never seen again.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was supposed to meet some mob connections.
Right.
They weren't there. He waited a half hour. He stepped out. People saw him
get into
a car, and it looked like he wasn't forced.
Because first of all, yeah, because you will not, like, if you're thinking you're going to die or something bad's going to happen, you're not going to get in the car. No. At least not calmly and be like, "Oh, yeah, cool, we're just going for drinks." No, you'd be like giving some looks like, "I am so screwed right now." No, he just gets in the car and he's never seen again.
God.
And there have been several theories as to where he's located. He's a giant stadium. Like, there's thousands and thousands of feet of concrete poured there. Like, he's gone. But they tore apart a barn. The most recent one, the FBI tore apart a barn in New Jersey.
Yeah, something I showed them, like, it was
13. They were tearing a barn apart, thinking that Hoffa was buried in there somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know. At this point, I don't know why they care.
What are you going to do? I mean, what's it going to do?
It's
like,
such an old
I don't even think the Teamsters exist anymore.
No, I mean, because now you have different trucking companies. You've got. I'm sure that there's still a small, like, group.
Right.
But because now it's not controlled by one person; it's controlled by multiple companies.
And you don't need the mob anymore, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think the mob still exists?
Yes. I do, but not
But they're like
not
internet mobs now.
not to the level that it used to.
Like, oh, we gotta launder the Z Bitcoin.
Right.
Or is it Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. Well, there's different types of e-commerce out there,
And
and I don't know anything
I said
about.
Z because I was picturing it like ZEE. Otherwise, I would have called it a Z Bitcoin.
Yeah, so
Just want to clarify.
like people like you got to mine for Bitcoin. I'm like, how do you mine online?
Well, what you do is you get a bunch of little ones and zeros to create a dwarf. And that dwarf starts slamming into the internet.
Chipping into the internet.
With the
I found a coin.
I just, Bitcoin, all the power to people that are going with it, but like it shows you that it's not a real currency when Tesla goes, I'm not going to accept Bitcoin anymore, and it flops. It like dropped so much.
Right.
I was like, if Tesla said, I'm not going to use the US dollar anymore, the US dollar would not tank.
No. No.
People would just go, I guess I got to exchange my US dollar.
Let's face it, people aren't buying Teslas anyway.
No. Not in Montana anyway.
Well, which is very surprising. In Great Falls, there is a Tesla charging station.
There is a couple around, but I mean, you'd have to buy.
But I've never seen a Tesla at one.
You have to buy the expensive model in Montana to be able to get, because we looked into it a little while ago, and the more expensive one you can get 500 miles to charge.
Well, here's the thing: you need. Why can't they make it so I can just plug that into my 110 outlet in my wall?
So when you buy a Tesla, you can. They give you the charging kit that makes it so it plugs into your home.
But the one plug that goes into the car, why is it weird?
Because they don't want you to be able to use you have to use their stuff. It's like Apple. Why does Apple use a charger that is different from everyone else?
Actually, every charger for Apple, this has been changed in the recent 5-10 years. But up until then, every time Apple released a new phone, their charger was different.
Yeah, it's because they want you to buy a new charger
As
every
you
time
got
it breaks.
Even some older cell phones were that way, where you had to add the specific charger for the phone. But eventually, the major cell phone brands were like, this is dumb. Why don't we just manufacture micro USBs?
But I mean, even like your Apple ones, you have that weird charger.
Yeah.
That has like the weird bits on the other side.
Yeah.
So you get like anything that we own works with
Anything?
a C cable.
Yep. Mine's a C cable.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you go with an Apple, they
Okay.
use like an Apple specific, where
Right.
a C cable I can use on my PC. I actually have a C outlet on the PC.
Yeah, mine's right there.
Right? So it doesn't make any sense. That's why I love Samsung.
It's not so much Samsung. You just like anything,
even-
anything Android.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I had to do a project, and I had to create an ad for a big business, like as if I was hired by them. And you have to
You wish you could work for Samsung, don't you?
I made some ads, and Sammy was like, "Yeah, really good."
Go to work for Google.
I don't want to work for Google. I've seen their workplace, and I'm not 19, so I don't want to work there. I feel like that old guy that's like, oh, and they're playing ping pong instead of working. Just wonder why nothing gets done here. I'm
like-
at that point in my life.
It's like you and I on a project. Well, we did about 10 minutes worth of work. Let's go play golf.
That's different
Why?
because we finished what we wanted to do, or we got so mad at it that we weren't going to do any more of it.
We had to wait for the mortar to dry.
Yes, that too. There was that. And we don't have the right piece.
I think they're closed
I
today.
think it's at the golf course.
We'll go see the golf course after. So,
What sucks?
what?
I have no one to go golfing with on my birthday.
Just because the golf course is closed.
I was going to go to any of them. I don't care. It's a weekday. On my birthday, nobody's going to go with me.
Man up, buttercup.
I'll just probably go play by myself.
Life is full of disappointment.
I know. I've had you as a goalie.
No, you don't. You don't have to have me.
I said I've had you as a goalie.
No, that just makes you play a little bit harder.
Don't even lie. I don't know how many times I've seen you just relax when you see that I play it out there.
Because you got it. I trust my D.
Yeah, but no, when I'm off the ice, it seems like you look a little different.
Yeah, because I don't trust my D.
That sounds sexual.
No. Anyway,
Anywho,
that's our conspiracy theories.
yeah, those are kind of neat because I mean, some of those like you've heard the name, but you didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
So.
So, fun story. My wife's saying you're whining.
I'm whining.
Mhm.
Well,
Because you're giving me the guilt trip.
of course I am. I know you can't because you got to work, but I want to make you feel bad a little. Let's go golfing tomorrow at 3. I have class.
When?
3 is when it's over.
Okay.
But then I'd have to be back in class at 6.
You and I can't finish a round of golf in 3 hours?
But we have to go to either Beaver Creek or.
You're such a whiner. Anyway. What? So, a trove of Nazi artifacts was found stashed in the wall of a German house.
Go figure.
Well, I've often, like, you hear, oh boy. I hear stories about this all the time where somebody, like, I'm, like, waiting for this to happen to me, but it ain't going to happen in our house because it's too new. Like, you're tearing down a wall to do something, and you find treasure in your wall.
Yeah. The only thing that I found that was a treasure in my wall was an old hockey card that had fallen through a baseboard in the place that we were fixing.
Was it your card?
No, it was like a really, really old one. But it wasn't like a good player. So it kind of sucked at that point. But it was still kind of cool.
Depends on how old the card is, though. Even if it's not a good player, if the card is still in mint condition and it's really old, it's still.
I was nerdy then, so I had magazines that told you like
It was worth
card
a nickel?
prices. Yeah, it was worth like
3 cents. But they say that likely hidden as the Allies advanced on the city at the end of World War II, the cache includes gas masks, a revolver, and boxes of documents. So a history teacher was cleaning his aunt's house in Hagen, Germany. Hagen, Germany.
Yeah, put the in there.
Yeah, Germany. After severe flooding, discovered a trove of Nazi artifacts hiding behind a wall. As it turns out, the building used to house as a local headquarters for the National Socialist People's Welfare Organization during the Nazi era. The family had no idea of its history when they purchased the property in 1960s. It's likely that they had stashed these when they knew the Allies were coming in, right? Because there isn't really any, there's no organization to how it's put in there.
All right, so this has got me thinking. One of us has to build a hidden wall safe in our house. And then we're going to store stupid things because we are going to leave it. We're going to leave it there. So like think of my house. If we go to that one room where like Persephone has her toys and stuff, if we cut the wall, because the wall is extra drywall, and we get to the concrete, and we drill through the concrete, make a little spot, and we put a safe in there, and then we board it all up again.
It sounds like a very expensive thing to do for something kind of not.
But like years from now, people will be like, "Who are Derek? What is Average Rants?" We can put like our little USBs of some of our podcasts in there.
Let's put a rotary phone in there.
Make it look like it's hooked up. People are like, what? And maybe we could rig it so when you open it, it rings. Oh, it's all coming together now.
Right. So,
Yeah, right over there?
I'm reading.
Oh.
I'm sorry. The trove is kind of weird. It's just like it's helping. The trove is going to help the NSV and its role in it's going to help teach people about the NSV and its role in the Nazi regime. The organization ran relief operations and kind of kindergartens. I'm not sure what that term of kindergarten, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't mean now. People at kindergarten, you're kindergarten. No, I think it's a little different.
Well, maybe they were educating kids in kindergarten.
It also benefited from donations of assets and goods seized from the Jewish groups and individuals. We know how nice the Nazis were to the Jews.
They were like buddies.
So what they're hoping to find is to come across files on the distribution of so-called Jewish furniture. Now, how terrible is that? You don't even consider that these people are people. You're calling them furniture. Right? Like, that's pretty terrible.
Well, I mean, you look all throughout history. So, like, the Spanish, the French, and the English didn't believe that natives had souls until a court case said they did.
I mean, they have recovered 12 boxes of materials from the site and are in the process of examining all of them. The amount of material found in the wall is overwhelming, and they've been looking for over a week, over 2 weeks now, and it's just they've been in the process of viewing and sorting through the recovered material, so they don't even really know what's in it yet.
It'd be crazy. Like, how awesome would it be if you did that? You found it. Okay, think of us. We're fixing something. We tear down a wall. Trove of papers. You open one of the papers. It's a map. Do we follow that map?
We would, because we're stupid.
Yeah, we would.
It could be drawn in our daughter's crayon and be like, oh, it's got to lead to something.
It wouldn't have been in her daughter's crayon if it was behind a wall.
Maybe they built a wall. Your daughter built a lava pool with a sacrificial altar.
All right, well, I mean, everyone's been listening to Average Rants here at KNFC
90.1
FM.
Just saying, we could find a treasure trove. But that would be nuts, though, especially over there.
Yeah, I mean, I almost feel like if I lived in Germany, I would just expect...
Not just Germany. Just think of anywhere. If you were a Nazi sympathizer and you knew the Allies were coming and you had all this contraband, you got to do something with it.
Well, a lot of the stuff we've watched showed us how they would just hide things. And it wasn't even like simple hiding. It was elaborate places to hide things that you wouldn't, like, people are just going to stumble across. Like Jay Pyatt here in town. He had a house down in Billings, and he was in the garage, and he wanted to change out. They had like a cork board or something for hanging their tools. He didn't want it there. Took it down. When he took it down, there was a door behind it. Opened that door, goes in there. There's a whole crate of marijuana. Party! But he said it was like a hidden room. Right. So, like when we were talking about it, he was like, "Yeah, now it's going to be my illegal poker ring."
Right. Well, and that comes in, and they actually have here in town. You brought up the Haber Beneath the Streets, because there was a brothel and all that stuff that was run down there. They're actually, when they've been doing some remodeling underneath the Eagles, they found rooms they didn't know existed because they were pulling out walls and stuff. There are a lot of people in this town who believe that the cities lived under the streets. No, you don't.
Yeah, they did. The mole people.
You don't live under dirt. We don't live under
Mole
dirt.
people.
If your city burns down, because the Bullock Bottoms, the original Haber, the city name was Bullock Bottoms, burned down in a tractor fire.
Mm-hmm.
If your house burns down, Barry, are you going to dig a hole where your house was and then live in it?
Yes. And then you'll come over. I'll be like, "Welcome to mole."
Or were those holes already there because of the illegal alcohol that was being pushed around? Which is why those places are down there, because you couldn't. It was during the 1920s. Alcohol was illegal, prohibition, running the illegal gambling houses and prostitution places, because that's what's down there. And people are like, "Well, you live down there." There's no houses. There's a brothel, a bunch of bars, a couple other little businesses. What I'm thinking, and this is my personal opinion, but that there's no actual evidence that people live beneath the streets. Because it's stupid. You don't live underground. But if you're doing something illegal, yes, you do it underground. Everybody did that. All the major cities had all the major gambling rings, and they were either
They're always in a basement.
in a basement. in some dude's basement. And if somebody did live in their basement, it was until they rebuilt their house. And then you go back upstairs. I've seen a lot of pictures and everything for however many streets. I've never actually gone down there. But maybe I'll take the tour one day. Maybe.
We could do it together.
Average Rants.
And live stream it. Underground.
But because I worked at the newspaper here in town for a lot of years. We have newspapers going all the way back. There is no written evidence or article that even mentions the fact that people lived underground in Hammer. Not one. That would make the news, I think.
Not if they were trying to hide it from the Nazis.
Oh, Nazis in Montana.
Yeah.
That's further off.
Mm-hmm.
The Nazis had a secret base here.
I don't think I ever told you what I thought I could do in my basement to make the house more interesting. I thought it'd be interesting because I was like, it's not that far to get to the end of my property on that hill.
No.
But it's tall enough that you can have a door at the end of it. So I was like, I was going to dig out.
You were going to
make a tunnel. And all that tunnel would be is just a concrete tunnel with 2 doors that leads you out to
your neighbor's backyard?
To the bottom of the hill.
What's your neighbor's backyard?
No, there's just the bottom of the hill where the fence is. So it's not even that far.
It's like 3 feet to your neighbor's yard from there.
Yeah. I just thought,
how's it going?
Could you imagine that? You come to a place, you're like, where's this door going? And you're like, this is stupid.
Dude, I already told you when you were looking at a new house and hopefully you're going to get it. That hallway that's in that house feels like a hallway to nowhere to me.
Yeah.
Because it just goes.
Because nobody needs to get
Your wife loves it. I'm like, it weirds me out. Like, I don't know where I'm going to end up if I walk out of this house.
I want it because I want to be able to sit at the end of the hall and just chuck a ball.
I told your wife that you guys should just paint it like it's the where it's the Doppler effect.
Oh yeah.
You're just like
feels like it's spinning.
What are you? A zebra? A really fast zebra? Yeah. Community calendar.
Is there anything else I can talk about? There's not a lot going on right now. Just
Festival Days is coming up.
When's that coming up? You talk about that.
I don't know when Festival Days is exactly. It's coming up the next week. So
Festival Days is happening at some point here.
Well, everybody knows about it. I never do anything for
September 18th.
Festival Days. 2 weeks.
There you go.
3 weeks.
Whatever. Sometime.
Yep. Get in that 48-hour softball tournament because no one will take us.
Yeah, like, how are you supposed to get into something when you can't get a team to get into it?
I don't know. Build our own team?
That's why this year we have to figure out how to do a draft tournament.
I don't think it'd be that hard to figure out. We're just getting the ice time.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing though. We could talk to Lewistown, talk to here, talk to Glasgow. Great Falls is privately owned, so you'd have to pay for the ice time.
Here?
Like, I'm thinking of if we could get ice time here.
Oh.
Right? Lewistown is community run, so you could see it and be like, I'll give them proceeds.
You are the adult coordinator for the state of Montana. You know this.
Yeah, I gotta think some stuff.
It's your job. I'm just here.
I do think it'd be good, but I mean, the adult hockey. I'm wondering if it's going to start early if they're putting in the rink.
If the ice is frozen and ready to go, we're going.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
First week of October. I mean, they give the ice a week to.
Last time they needed 3 days, but maybe just due to the temperature. But I think those new compressors are going to make it so that it doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
So, here's hoping.
I'm so ready.
I got to sharpen my skates soon.
Why?
I bought new ones.
For what?
If I'm going to start playing, I need
playing
skates.
What?
Hockey.
On what team?
It don't matter to me. I'll play it on any hockey team.
All right.
The only thing that, like, for me is I like doing our, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and that kind of stuff. But to me, that's just dinking around. I want to play hockey.
Yeah, well, that's going to be kind of difficult right now.
Yeah. Well, that's why I try to get into as many tournaments as I can throughout the year, as like an adult. Just because if you go into tournaments, it's not like high quality all the time, but it's more competitive. a little bit more
you
fun.
play in the Hell Freeze tournament
Yes.
every year, right? Do you feel like that's competitive?
The problem is so everywhere that I've grown up and played hockey, you played on a team.
Well, you guys have your team,
But
for
it changes all the time. It's never the exact same. It's constantly different. And the other thing
you
too
need to
is-
get worse so you can be on our team.
Yeah, I'll just break my leg.
We could just cut off an arm. Here's what I'll do. I will athletic tape your left arm to your hip, and you can only play with one arm.
I still feel like I'd be okay.
You wouldn't be able to shoot worth a damn. But
I would need to. I just dangle.
you can't dangle.
With
Even
one arm?
with two arms, you can't dangle.
Because with one arm, I wouldn't need a long stick because I can't stick handle. I just shorten it and then.
I was gonna say, I've seen you don't stick handle. Of all the stick handlers that we've got, you're not what I would call the premier.
No,
stick
I'm a
handler.
strategic player.
You put yourself in the right place at the right time. That's all that matters. And as you get older in age, which you're starting to feel, you're like, yeah, it's just easier.
Hey,
to
I'm
be
really
there.
good at chipping it off the boards too.
Oh yeah, I do it all the time. Even if I can't get to it, neither can they.
I don't know how many times I've done a cross ice pass off the boards to the lead guy that was skating down the ice.
I did one. You know, that still irks me that we did that one day you showed us how to do that in practice, and you didn't expect me to make a perfect pass, and it went right past you because you were like, "Oh, he's not going to get to me,"
I thought you were gonna whiff on it.
and it was perfect.
It was pretty good. Made me laugh.
And then there was that one night we played, and I put a pass up to you, and you look back, and you're like, "What is he doing?" The puck was already gone. You look forward, you're like, "Oh, it went right between my legs." Because I put it perfect. It would have hit you right in the stick had you not looked up.
Well, you got to take it from my point of view. When I'm playing with beginners,
You need to have more faith. All you tell us is to trust each other, and you didn't trust me
Okay.
those 2 times.
I trust you guys to try hard. I don't trust you guys all to make the right decision.
You would have been on such a breakaway. It would have been so bad. Instead, it was icing because you weren't paying attention.
No.
Way to go. How about some nerd news?
Is there nerd news?
A little bit.
Nerd news?
How many? Do you like Arby's? I love Arby's.
I know you like Arby's.
I do.
I don't mind it.
Well,
I've dabbled in it a bit.
you the first roast beef sandwich you've ever eaten that I brought back from Great Falls. Arby's is now selling Dungeons and Dragons dice.
What? Are they going to be like meat smelling?
No, they're dice.
Are they called the I have the meats?
Um,
A nat meat.
For decades, Dungeons and Dragons has defined the tabletop RPG scene, being the indisputable king of the genre and boasting a massive influence over other media, especially video games. And while Dungeons and Dragons has always been popular, it's been a recent surge in popularity. It's seen a surge in popularity thanks to celebrity players, streamers, and people trying the game during the pandemic. Now, other companies are banking on the game's popularity, including the fast food chain Arby's. I mean, a good game of D&D needs an equally good set of dice to make rolls with. And Arby's is looking to provide its own special set for players to use around the table. The Arby's dice set is clear with a sort of brown center. The set is adorned with gold digits, which does contrast well with the rest of the color scheme. Notably, the D20 and the D6 both boast the Arby's logo in place of the 20 and the 6 on the die, respectively. Here's a photo.
Oh, let me see these bad boys.
Now, you've been boasting about your 3D printers for weeks now, right? And you just got a new one.
I just need to get the. You do realize
You can make dice.
that I can get clear resin.
Now, the thing is, dice people are very particular, a lot of players, and this is through my experience. I've played with guys that wouldn't let anybody, and I do mean it, spouses, touch their dice, right?
Mhm.
Like they just freak out. Like, don't touch, you're going to curse them. They were cursed long before.
Well, I just know that I'm going to 3D print one and put a little bit more weight on the one.
You right? So that's the thing. Like there is if you buy a new set of dice that are resin or plastic, you can actually test them to see how well they're balanced.
Yeah.
You put them in a very strong solution of salt water, and they'll float, and you bounce them. And if the same number keeps popping up, it either means there's a hollow spot and there's an air pocket.
Yeah.
Or if a different number pops up every time, it's balanced. So you could do that with your printer, though. You could make a nice little one.
So the thing is like, especially with like Dungeons and Dragons, the whole reason why I play it is because it's random.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, if anybody ever weighted a die to even made it so that it was more likely to fall on like a 17 or 18 or something, this is not fun anymore.
Like, why are you cheating at a game where you and your buddies decide the story, right? Mm-hmm. I'm the game master. Yes, I come up with the overall bad guy, the plot, and what could happen. I can do all that. The problem with this is the players don't know what I have planned, and they're just like, you know what? We're going fishing. You guys are supposed to stop the hobgoblins from eating the bait. We're going fishing.
We deserve a break.
But fishing. Okay, roll the die. Did I catch a fish? Yes.
What kind of fish was it?
It's a hobgoblin. It's got a baby. We're going hunting now. Damn it! Come on.
Well, I mean, you've seen me. Like, remember that time when I wanted to balance on the top of the banister and meditate, and I just rolled, and I failed miserably. So
I didn't ask for that roll.
Yeah, but that was the thing. You didn't want me to roll, but I wanted to because I wanted that chance to fail.
Nutted yourself. I meant to do that. It's cool. Good.
Well, because that's what I liked about the game and all of the stuff that I've ever done is like, yes, some things your character should just naturally be able to do because of the training, but there's still, even if you're like the best sword juggler in the world, there is a chance that you miss one time.
Well, we can go through the different types, and you fall into the more narrative type player. You don't care about the stats. You don't care about cool stuff you have. You play for the narrative. You're playing for the story, right? Like, this would be a really cool thing to do at this spot. Like,
come on, I jump kicked the guy through a window.
Awesome, right? Right. Then there's the power gamer. What is the best race that I can put with the best class, with the best weapon, with the best feats and the best abilities to make me the most powerful character I could be at any given level? And I just run through rooms and destroy things. And when it comes to my turn, I hit him.
I hate that.
I hit him again. Right? Now, if that's your play style, that's fine. I fall somewhere in the middle where I like narrative, but I like my character to be well suited to do what he's doing. Like, I'm not going to make my fighter and give him no strength.
That would be entertaining, though.
Wouldn't it? I have, in the past, taken, like, weird races and mixed them with weird classes. Like, I hate a halfling barbarian. I mean...
I've got a halfling paladin.
You met him. No. So, but it's kind of cool to see, like, how mainstream it is getting.
It is. I don't think I would ever want to have dice, though, that had...
The Arby's logo on it?
It's the logo.
I think it's a little tacky.
It's forced.
I have a dice problem.
Well, like, the dumb thing is I don't think this is what they don't really get it. If you get dice from them, you're using them. You're not letting somebody else really use them. So it's really just for you. If you are rolling them and you're playing with them and it doesn't have the logo and people go, I like the look of those dice. Where did you get them? You're like, I got them at Arby's, right? Where I'm not going to want to play if people see the Arby's logo.
Right. Well, and here's the thing. I don't know if this is kind of like, it's not agreeing with you, it's not disagreeing. I have sets of die that have a certain logo on them, where their 6 or the 20 is, or the big number on the die. It's a set, it's the maker's mark, essentially, of who created the die. Like, I have a set of Kraken dice. So they have a Kraken where the 20 or the 4.
Well, see, like, that
6.
stuff doesn't bother me. It's the...
But they're trying to advertise, which the other person is too, like with the Kraken die. Yeah, they have their logo. But these are billion-dollar corporations, and most places you can buy dice from aren't multi-million-dollar corporations. They're mom-and-pop shops.
Well, the thing, too, is, like I said, like, if I'm playing with those dice, people aren't going to go, hey, is that the Arby's logo? They're going to be like, hey, I like those dice. Where did you get them?
So I backed on Kickstarter, and they just got pushed back because apparently when a microchip factory burns down in China, the world stops.
Yeah, that usually happens.
So you've seen these dice, but they have a Bluetooth connection in them to where when I roll them, they'll glow. The number on the top will flash. But I can hook them up to my computer. We play games on Roll20, which means we're all online because COVID screwed everything up and we don't play live games. And some of the people we play have moved away, and this just makes it easy. Well, I can connect the dice to my computer, so when I roll them, the rolls will show up on Roll20.
So you can cheat more.
Like I cheat now.
Yeah, we've seen it.
They're digital dice. And Tyler rolled 4 ones in a row last week.
Because he wanted to die.
But and that one die is going to run me $50 for one dice. I think I'm getting 2 though, because
I thought you said you got 2.
2. I'm getting because you need 2 for advantage disadvantage. But you can get a set for like $140. But this is only if you did the Kickstarter, and then after that. But my point is that the things that a dice are made out of these days, you can get dice made out of meteorite, dice made out of mammoth tusks, out of petrified trees.
Resin.
Most dice are resin. Because that's the cheapest way to do it. Or they're cast in a mold. Although I have a lot of dice that are clear, and you can tell that they were poured in a mold because you put them up to the light, you can see all the air bubbles in them. Whereas I think with a resin printer or even your regular printer, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, with resin, the only thing that I've read is, so you can do it one of 2 ways. Usually you build everything solid, so that everything's solid. Otherwise, you get liquid resin inside, trapped, and it can't get out.
Right.
Which is not a good thing.
It would just slosh around in there as you
Well, because like the dumb thing that a lot of people don't realize is, I didn't really realize it until I started looking into it more, but liquid resin is extremely toxic. So you have to wear gloves. Like once it's cured and it's not its liquid form anymore, it's fine.
Well, because the liquid resin, just and for people who don't know, it's a liquefied plastic, but when it comes into contact with UV light, it solidifies.
Yes.
Almost instantly, right?
But no, it's not instantly, but it's just quick.
Right.
It starts. So you have to wear gloves with it, because if you get the liquid on you, it doesn't do anything. But the more you get it on you, and the more that comes in contact with your skin, the more that it affects your immune system. So breathing it in and stuff isn't that big of a deal. It's touching it. Mm-hmm. So if I touch any of the liquid,
you absorb a lot through your skin.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing that they warn you about is you won't, like a couple times it happened throughout the course of a year. Every time isn't going to be a big deal. But if you're coming in contact so frequently, it affects your immune system, and eventually you will be allergic to anything resin-based, to the point that even when it's cured, you'll touch it and you'll break out. So
you got to go out and get on that rubber glove thing.
Oh, I've got rubber gloves already.
No resin though. Congratulations, your printer showed up. Where's the Oh, there's the email that says the resin's not coming.
I ordered some cheap resin that people said worked good just for the intern.
You've been chomping at the bit since you said you ordered that thing.
I know.
And it was cheaper than the other printer too, though. Isn't that kind of weird?
Because it was on that back to school sale.
Back to school.
But I mean, I printed some things today for the kids.
That's right.
And I thought
you printed those all today.
So I printed them all all 12 of them last night. Took me about 4 hours to get it done. And then I had to paint them after.
But you didn't sand them down or anything to make
I didn't do anything special. A couple of them had failed a little bit, so I used polyurethane to cover up the failures because it hardens.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's kind of interesting, like to see some the main D&D,
not so much D&D, but role-playing games in general, especially now. Like we are way too, and I'm doing it right now, way too attached to our electronics. Like, right? I mean, I literally just messaged you yesterday because my daughter was literally wandering around the house with her face attached to her tablet.
Yeah.
And there was a physical bond. Like you need to put that thing down.
That's right. Like I don't know how like we survived. Like I know
We did things.
We played outside a lot. But the other thing too is when we were kids, playing outside didn't seem as dangerous.
Right.
It's like times have changed and there's been more fear.
So-
but I guess.
Well, and we didn't grow up in the video game era so far. I mean, video games were more than around. We didn't play.
It was more of like
Constantly.
when it rained, you played, and at night I would play.
You know, or you would like. I remember when GoldenEye came out. It wasn't the first person shooter, but it was one of the first ones that you could play multiplayer with your friends and
4 people.
at the same time, right? So you and your buddies would get together for a couple hours.
But I also
But
remember
you would get bored and you'd be like, oh, let's go do something. Let's go hang out. Let's go drive around. Let's
I'd be
go.
like, hey, let's go play some video games. And we'd be like, all right. We'd go down and we'd be like getting there. We'd walk in. You'd be like, it's a nice day. Do you guys want to play Manhunt in the Woods first?
But here's the thing, like, right? So yeah, you're still playing video games, but you're still being social because your buddies are in the exact same room with you,
Yeah.
right? Now it's like you can do this with hundreds of different people. You know this better than most because you play WoW and you play online all the time. Yeah, I mean, you've never seen some of the faces of the people you play online with,
Yeah, not unless they post them.
right? So, and you don't know what they look like, or you know,
No, we just-
outside of their username, you're like, I don't know this person.
I felt like if I would meet them in person,
It'd be weird
I'd
because-
call them their tag name. Probably.
Well, that, and you probably have this weird preconceived vision of what they look like, and you're like, no,
That's
not you. You need to leave. But yeah, no, it's not. It's not you. But yeah, we played outside a lot, and I get it. Even now, like I said, I'm as attached to my phone as anybody.
Yeah.
Like we went to your kid's birthday party today. I left my phone at the house. I can't tell you how many times I stuck my hand in my pocket looking for my phone.
Do you ever get that? Because I've done where I left it, like at home, and I felt like it vibrated,
Yeah,
and it's not there.
that's actually a neurological thing. Like it's actually a disease, and some people have it worse than others because you're anxious.
Well, the dumb thing for me is like I don't feel like I need it too much. I need it for certain things a lot.
I know how often you don't get your messages.
Yeah. So like there are points where I just don't really care.
Right.
And the best thing I can teach it. Do you want to know how you make it so you don't use your phone too much? No. I forget to take it off of silent. Because I'm in class. So when I'm in class, I put it at silent, and then I'm like, man, nobody's met. Whoa, no.
Well, see, for me, the big thing was, so I didn't check my phone to make sure I missed this call or missed a message. I have a smartwatch, so it connects to my smartwatch, and my watch tells me. So I'm not actually looking at my phone, but does that count? Because I'm still
It
technically,
still does.
yeah, I'm like, because I can answer messages through my watch.
Well, like, here's the thing. Really think about the messages that you get a lot
See,
of
but
the
that's what I'm looking for. I'm not scrolling through TikTok or Instagram. I'm looking at my hand going, oh, you sent me a text message. You want to go play golf today at 3 o'clock? Yes.
But I mean, think
But
about
I can't, and I can't type that in.
when we were younger. How did we plan things?
Right.
Right? Like,
Well-
you would have to actually plan them. It couldn't be last
So-
minute.
You had your one best friend, right?
Mhm.
Like when you're growing up, you can think of one person that you hung out with more than anybody.
Yeah.
You had friends. That's that one guy. You didn't make plans. You just knew, dude, we're gonna hook up at school. and we're after school. We're just gonna hang out until we got to go to dinner. Or our parents tell us one of us tells us to go home.
Yeah, my challenge with my buddy like that was how much could I make him skip his last class because I had a spare
Right.
to go play Halo.
Right. And everybody has that friend, or maybe two. Maybe it was just a small group. Everybody had that. You never made plans because you knew you were going to be together anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But it's just kind of weird. Like I try to think about like what we do now with phones, and I think back where I remember I would call my buddy's house, nobody would pick up, and I wouldn't be like, "Well, I guess I can't do anything today." I'd be like, "Well, I bet you they're outside.
I should just go over there."
So I'm just gonna go. Yeah, and I just walk or ride my bike.
And here's the other thing: when you went to that one friend's house, you were like a brother or a member of that family. Like, oh, hey Barry, you eating over today? I am now.
So we alternated summers.
Right.
So from grade 6 until grade 12, every other summer we stayed at the other person's house for the whole summer.
Yeah.
Like my dad,
So-
I remember my dad when I was in, I think it was grade 10, and he was like, I honestly, halfway through the summer, thought you were kidnapped. He forgot that I was staying over there.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that now. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a kid now, but I don't feel that's the way it is because you have that connection to everybody because this is always in your pocket.
Yep.
Your phone is always there.
Oh
Right?
heck, like kids sit 2 feet away from each other and they'd rather text each other and tweet.
You even told me today. I showed up at the birthday party. I'm like, man, I forgot my phone. You're like, why? I'm the only one who messages you, which is not a joke because it's true. Right. So I have the one game that I stupidly go through when I'm really, really bored, and I play it for a few minutes because you only get so much energy per hour.
Did you beat Legends of the Dragon?
No, because I fall asleep when I play.
Right? It is so hard to play games on your phone when you're, especially.
Well, because the picture's really small and the refresh
picture's
rate.
really small. You have a TV that you can stream it onto.
Well, I'm just saying, but the resolution's pretty bad, and it's just really rough on the eyes, and then I just go down.
Yeah, we've been spoiled.
Right.
We got better resolution games now.
I mean, like they said, your parents always say, don't sit too close to the TV; it's bad for your eyes. I'm starting to think it was true.
Well, look at me. Wearing glasses.
Right.
I had 20/20 vision.
Oh man, I used to watch wrestling religiously as a kid, from the age of like 10 to like 18 or 19 years old. It was Monday Night Raw or WCW Nitro, and I've been watching these. You came over one night. I was watching one. It's After Dark, wrestling After Dark, right?
Yeah.
The dark stories behind these things, and they're showing all this footage from the 1990s, the 1970s, 1980s. And I'm like, man, I can't see what's written on the screen. I'm looking at a 4K TV and I can't read it because they're re-imaging the old TV. I'm like, I watched that for hours. Like, how much eye strain did I have as a kid?
Yeah.
Like, when people say, oh, there's no difference between standard def and high def. Oh boy, are you lying?
It's because they haven't seen high
They
def.
haven't seen high def yet, right? And then when they get high def, they're like, oh, what is this? I'm like, yeah, that's high definition.
I remember the first time I walked in, because when I saw like 1080p, well, it was 720.
I couldn't tell the difference between 1080p and 1080i.
Yeah,
People are like, I can totally tell you. You're so full of crap.
but like for me, so going from 720 to 1080 wasn't like a huge change for me.
No.
But then I remember I had like a 1080.
But remember, the only thing that would do that were your computer monitors,
Yeah.
right? They would go from 480 to 1080, and your icons would go whoop, and just shrink, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, that's really sharp, but they're really small.
But I remember walking in, I think it was a Costco, and they had like that when they first brought out those 4K,
Mm-hmm.
and it was on one of the TVs, and I was just like, oh, and I looked, I was like, oh my, what have I just done all my life?
Right?
Like, this is
So-
ridiculous.
I remember when the flat screens were coming out, and they weren't true flat screens. This was a rear projection flat screen. So it was still the size of a tube TV, but the front of the TV was flat, so hence it was a flat screen. It wasn't the thin flat screens. And I'm up at this store, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, this is just, who would watch this? It was like a 50-inch TV, and it was blurry as crap. And the gentleman that was working the electronics department, he sees me just staring at this TV because I'm trying to figure. I've heard a lot of people like, oh, these are great, you gotta buy one. And I'm like, is this as clear as it gets? Because it's really blurry. He's like, no, you got to stand back 25 feet for it to look clear. I'm like, if I put that in my living room and move back 25 feet, I'm in my backyard. That's stupid. Why does the TV get clearer the further I get, or worse? And the worst part, it was a rear projection. So if you were anywhere but in front of it, you couldn't see it because it had that weird, they get dark off to the sides. You remember the old LCD screens used to do that too.
Yeah.
Like you get anywhere but right in front of it. Well, how's your family supposed to watch TV together? It's one dude gets to watch the show and everyone else gets to see shadows.
Yeah. Well, have you ever turned on that the soap opera setting?
No.
That's what I call it, but it's called something else. But there's like a setting that makes everything look like it's filmed like a soap opera. So it makes you feel
one
like
of my TVs defaulted to that. And when I first did it, I about threw the thing away. I'm like, this looks dumb. Why is this like this? And I didn't realize it was a setting in the TV. And I'm like, oh my God, I can turn it off.
Well, because I remember when we had it on, and I was like, for like documentaries, for like nature documentaries, I was like, this is fantastic. But then I'd watch like a Marvel movie, and I'm like, this is stupid.
It looks awful because it changes everything. You're like,
Well, it made me feel like I was there.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want to feel like I'm there. I want to feel like I'm watching the movie.
Yep. So, yeah. Just think of the evolution in television we've gone through in our lifetime.
Oh, yeah. Like, I remember the first TV that I got was, like, my dad gave me one of those little tiny ones. Man, it must have been like a 10-inch.
But it was like this long.
No, mine was like a 10-inch. And it had
here's your screen, right? But it was a rectangle because it had to have all that crap in the box.
Yeah, and like on the bottom, it had like your contrast as a dial and your tune as a dial. And the power button was a big square with a circle in the middle to let you know where.
Did it have an antenna on it?
It did.
Or did you break it off?
I had to screw it in if I wanted it on. But I broke it.
Everybody breaks it.
So I used the copper wire with a coat hanger out the window onto our giant antenna.
And it was blurry until you grabbed a hold of it and you're like,
right?
It's clear. But you're like, I don't want to stand here all day staring at my TV.
I remember when South Park came out, my dad would not let me stay up till 1 because it came out at 1 in the morning to watch it. So that's when I figured out how to hook up that system. And I did. I laid there in bed holding that wire so I could watch
the
whole
window.
episode. And it was still fuzzy.
Right.
But you were just like, yeah, I've done it. It didn't matter how fuzzy it was. But I mean, man, nowadays, if it was a little fuzzy, kids would just be like, I'm not watching that.
No. I mean, I remember, and then we never had one in our house, but I remember going over to people's houses where they still had the dial. You had to click the channel. Click, click, click to get to the right
Did
channel.
they ever have remember the clickers that you had the channels were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on there, and it wasn't like 15. It was like 1, and it'd be like click,
Yeah.
like a big, and it would stay pushed down.
Yeah. And then they actually had, this is still a little bit before me, but I imagine people still had them when I was young, but they had the cord attached to it. It was a remote, but it was still attached to the television because they hadn't come up with the RF modules yet. Like, and then the TVs, man. Like nowadays, I can carry anyone. I got a 70-inch TV I can lift on my own. It's just awkward.
Yeah. Well, have you seen that? They've got that new one, the TV, where it's in kind of like a box, and then you push it and it comes up like it's a movie screen.
Nice.
And it just comes up, and when you're done watching, you turn.
I have, and I've thought about this because I have a lot of walls. You've seen my walls in my basement. They're big and they're white and they're pretty empty. Why don't I just hook up a projector? Because then I can have the screen size of my wall.
Yeah, I mean downstairs would be perfect because of the lighting in that room. All you have to do is just paint a projection screen or get one.
The wall's already white.
Yeah, but there's a certain type of paint that you can get that really makes the detail show better.
Right.
You can just use your wall, but any type of paint you get on your wall is going to be reflective, and you don't want reflective for your.
But I thought about that, and then I'm like, those get kind of spendy, and where would I hook? Like I could like wire it, but I'd have to run wires through my ceiling and all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to cut holes in my walls and my ceilings. And
you don't have. I'll do it.
Oh, I don't have to. You'd be more than happy to drill holes in.
Yeah, I mean, I'll damage your ceiling all day to get a projection screen down there.
Right. A projector, not a projection screen.
No, it's going to project. We're going to get the expensive one.
No, we're working on video work cameras for our hockey seasons.
Yeah, I got to figure out how that's going to work because I mean they've got
that one looks like it would work great, where it literally tracks the puck, except for the monthly fee you have to pay along.
Well, that's just it. Like it seems like everything's like that. So, like I said, I would rather get a nice system that we can just manually move it back and forth. We don't have to go up, down, and stuff, but just make it move because we can follow the play while we talk. We follow the play while we're talking anyway. And if we could get a nice system like that, but like I'm still on the weird fence where like right now they signed up with Live Bar up there, and my sister got me to watch my niece play in Canada, and they have something similar to like the Live Bar where you have to pay for it, and it doesn't make any sense. You pay enough to play hockey, and so like you or I, we would like to broadcast and like be a voice to talk about the games. We know enough about hockey that we can actually broadcast it because we know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to be on a platform that
somebody has to pay for.
Yeah.
We would like to do it as a.
Well, like think about this community here. If
Right.
we wanted people in this community to get involved in hockey, the only way that they're going to pay to watch it is if they have a kid playing. So if there's people that are like, you know what, I've got nothing to do, I want to go on YouTube and watch, they can't.
Right.
So I don't know what's going to happen with that stuff. Because like for me, I'd be like, all right, well, my guess is that the Havre Ice Hawks are going to have a subscription to it so that they can watch.
That's fine because that's.
But then can I get that password and then stream that onto YouTube so everyone can?
Right.
Or is that against the terms and agreements?
Probably.
So.
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky. I mean, I would just like something for the adults because we have the big tournaments for the adults. We did it with Twitch.
Loved it last
We
time.
did it with the Twitch, and it was a lot of. It was exhausting.
But it was so much fun. I had so much
Well, I
fun
think the
doing that.
biggest issue we both ran into is when we had to play and then we had to come back. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, after playing 60 minutes of hockey, you are roasted. You're done. And some days you play 2 games.
Yeah, I stink too.
Oh yeah, we didn't shower between games.
Nope.
No, we just went up there with our man sweat and we were sweating out poutine and
We ate so much bad food. Oh, it was good.
greasy.
Good bad food.
Oh man, greasy cheese covered, gravy covered food.
But I want to do something like that again, and I'd even do. It'd be nice if we could get that with, even the high school games because they do the basketball, they do football, and they do it over the radio. It'd be nice if we could find a way to do that.
And if the college hockey team works out,
I don't know.
That would be something that I would do for a home game. You know, I would be up there. So people can go watch. Like I get people don't want to go up to the. What's the one thing people don't like about hockey? It's cold. Like sitting in them stands, it gets cold.
Yeah, that's what a cold brew and warm poutine.
Right. I myself like sitting up and watching hockey. I will sit in. But if I had the chance to sit in my nice cozy recliner and throw the game on the television,
I just. A lot of people still don't think that hockey. Well, they didn't know that hockey was here. When I first got here, and I remember I went down to the farmers market, and I was selling those books for the hockey. Really, like you guys do the coupon books things.
Yep.
And I was selling those for them, and people would be walking by, and you know me, I'd be like, hey, come here for a second. They'd like come over, and I start talking to them about hockey, and they're like, "There's hockey here." And they lived here longer than me, and they didn't even know that hockey existed. And that was my first, when I moved here, went, that's got to change.
Right.
People got to know. So that's why when I started coaching the hockey stuff, I got a hold of the newspaper. I had interviews with the newspaper guys. It worked out even better that one of the guys that was doing the photography and stuff for them, I ended up meeting. So then he would just text me and ask me what was going on. And I don't know if that really happened last year.
I don't know.
But I wanted hockey, and I feel like people are starting to know that it exists around here, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I just people don't know, like, what do you do? Like, I have grown so attached to the sport because my daughter played it. It's ridiculous. Like, I play now. You're like, you play hockey? Well, yeah. Isn't it hard? Well, not really.
It's hard at the start, and then it gets easier.
Once you figure out how to move and stop, which you and I could teach somebody in a couple sessions, a couple hours.
I guarantee that I can teach anyone in a week to skate.
We can get you guys moving forward at a fairly decent pace. And I mean, you're on the same playing field as everybody else. If you're starting hockey as an adult, odds are you're going to peak at a certain point. You're going to get to the point where you can move pretty good. You can stop. You can probably skate backwards a little bit. You're never going to skate like those guys do in the pros. Here's the issue that most people have. The only hockey they know is the hockey they've seen on TV. And they're like, I ain't playing that. I wouldn't play that either. Right? Why? You'd be skating that, and I'm like, oh man, they're already going that. Oh man, they're already going that.
You'd be the blue line wanderers, is what I call them.
Yeah, I would just hang out in the neutral zone, man.
Because
Because
the blue line wanderers are the guys that stuck in between the blue lines.
but what people need to realize, and I hope if you're listening and if you just have some interest, come up and watch on a Sunday afternoon at 1:00 and see what we do. We teach the very basics of this game. We teach you to skate. We teach you to stop. We teach you basic puck handling and basic principles of the game.
And we definitely make it fun.
And it is fun.
I will make fun of everyone.
Including himself.
Yes.
We do not teach the game that you see on television. You will not see that game in that hockey rink.
No, I like to teach people. And I mean, this is all the way from like kids up to like if I was coaching like NHL level.
Right.
It wouldn't matter. I'd be teaching people to enjoy the game first, get better later.
Right. Well, and this is the thing, and my wife did this last year. She had set goals. She wanted to learn how to cross over. The day she learned how to cross over, like, whoa. Like, she was already attached to the game. Now she's like, what am I going to learn now? Well, you have to learn how to cross over with the other foot. Because she could do it one way. And that's common. Like, I can cross over really, really, for people who don't know, crossing over means you step over one foot with the other. It helps you turn really sharp and really fast. I can cross over one way far better than I can the other direction. And I think that's common with almost any skater.
Well, I think I'm a fairly good skater. And I may not be the fastest anymore, but I'm still pretty technical. And yeah, I have trouble one way more than the other.
Right. And
you won't notice it as much, but I
no. But you feel it feels a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, but I've learned to cross over backwards as well, and I could do it one way better than the other. But if you go into these things and you do it for you, right? I go into learning. I somehow got roped and didn't get roped. I volunteered to help coach. I don't know nothing about hockey.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, Barry. Thank you. You're going to help run the adult league. Barry, I don't even know how to skate.
Perfect.
Right?
It's always good to have.
But I'm really good at blowing. No, I'm not even good at blowing the whistle. I don't blow it loud enough, according to you.
Yeah, you do. I can't say what I called it.
I know. So, but I just want people who are curious to come up and just watch. Or if you're like, you know what, I want to try, we will help.
Yeah.
We will definitely help.
The thing I like most is most people and we had a bunch of new skaters.
Oh, we had a ton of new skaters this year.
And
It was a lot of fun.
I liked having them come up near about the halfway point, and they're just like, it just feels like you're flying when you get going, and you just.
There is that moment of terrifyingness when you get going because you can't teach somebody to stop until you teach them to go.
Yeah.
And they're going, and they're like, wait a minute. Now how do I stop? Because, well, you're going to eventually stop. You can glide, but it's going to take a while.
Yeah. Well, and another thing, people like Sammy, I got her all geared up in the hockey equipment, and the first thing, and I'm going to do it again this year, the first thing we're going to do is everybody's going to fall.
Oh yeah.
And I love
You
that.
should just watch around and just shove people.
You're like, hey, glad you're
Get up. What's the one thing? Step one. Once you fall, you have to get up. Right.
Yeah.
Standing up in skates is hard.
Well, people like I've played a lot of sports. Hockey is the sport that I play that has the most equipment, and I guarantee you, any other sport that I've played, if I fell while running, it hurts. When I fall when I'm skating, it's like I'm on a slip and slide.
This explains everything. Almost like I'd say 40% of the drills involve you falling or getting down on a knee or both knees or on your butt at some point and having to stand back up.
Everyone seemed to like that one drill. Remember when I got them to skate and they had the 360
right?
Their knees? You just see everybody fall.
And people are like, why would I do this? Because in a game, you're going to get tripped.
Yeah.
You're going to fall. You're going to slam into the boards. You're going to run into something. You're going to fall. And the toughest thing we have with teaching older adults and just people in general is that panic fall where they throw we don't want you to do. If you're going to go down, just go.
Yeah, you just gotta get used to it that you're gonna fall.
I play the position where I'm on the ice more than anybody.
Yeah, on your back on the ice.
On my butt. I remember one night, we hadn't even started playing yet, but I was backing into my net just to get started. And I leaned back too far in those goalie skates. And you know what a goalie skate looks like. They look like ice picks on the back. Mm-hmm. And I leaned back too far. And I just bit it and slid head first into the back of the net.
Well, I wish that Ryan was listening to this right now. He might be. Because he doesn't know how much of a world of hurt he's going to be in for this year. Because I still remember him pushing the net up behind me when I wasn't paying attention and tripping me. I hold grudges.
Do you?
Yeah. Because he asked me when we were at the radio if we were doing the 6 a.m.s again. I said, yeah, if we are allowed to, we probably will be.
You should probably go to a meeting, huh?
Well, I have to go to the next one that comes up anyway.
Isn't that next month?
They change them around this time. They're not as frequent because there's not a whole lot going on.
Well, yeah, because they didn't have one this month, did they?
Not that I know of.
So they
Unless I missed it.
They're probably going to have one in September because they put the ice in on the 23rd. So, at least that was what I've heard.
Yeah. Man, we could talk about I love talking about hockey.
I know, and unfortunately nobody else likes it when we talk about hockey. Football season starts in a week.
The Lights played.
They did. I don't know what the score was.
I heard it wasn't too good. But I mean, there was
the Blue Ponies had a game this week too,
and they won.
I think they won
Because I heard the cars honking their horn like crazy. Yeah. For people out there, I do support local sports. I just don't understand football. It's weird. You tell me, hey, Barry, we're gonna go play football today. I bet you I can play it.
You would play it.
No, I bet you I can play it. I bet you I can figure out the rules like pretty freaking quick. I know you don't go forward until the snap. I know the receiver runs down, makes plays. I know what a hook is. I know a button hook. I know like spins and stuff. I played rugby, so a lot of the generic rules are similar, like offsides.
It's funny that football is one of the most popular sports in America. They don't have a lot of adult that I've ever heard of.
It's because it has one of the highest injury rates.
It has the highest injury rate.
Hockey actually has one of the lowest. Hard to believe, right?
No, it's not.
I know
because I've done it, and this is why I believe that it's true, and I know it's true because I've been out there. You're only going to get hurt. Something crazy weird is going to happen.
Yeah, just like in any sport, though, like something weird can happen.
But it's not in zero contact hockey, which is what we play.
People get injured from running into each other once in a while.
These are accidental injuries. These injuries in the NFL and in football happen because of tackling, because there's a guy who gets rolled up on you and you bend and you fall weird, which can, and I'm not saying it doesn't, can happen in hockey. But because of the zero, we don't tolerate checking, right? We're not a zero contact. I shouldn't say zero
You're
contact.
allowed body contact, but you're not allowed body checking. There is a difference.
Right. So you're allowed to bump into people but you're not allowed to push or physically shove or which is
Yeah,
called
there's
check.
penalties for that, and you sit in a box for 2 minutes. To
Unless
think
it's a
about your
spouse. We don't call penalties on spouses. Ever. So
decisions.
if
I think you guys should have.
no, you were fine.
She 100% cross-checked me in the back of the head.
It was clean.
I slammed my head against the board.
Heads up hockey, bro. Head on a swivel.
That at the Hell Freeze was one of the things I liked when I was reffing. I didn't ref last year because we were doing the broadcasting, but the year before, I remember one of the Hammer teams was the Steins. They both got a penalty because both brothers were in the box, and I called both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And one was
There's a picture of them both sitting in the box.
One was I did checking because he full on hit the guy.
Yeah.
And then the other one was roughing. And I remember when it came to the roughing one, he was like, "What?" I was like, "You know what you did?" He's like, "Yeah, I do."
It was the Steinmetz brothers, yes. Yeah, so
Oh, you're getting close to time.
you got band practice.
Yeah, I do.
That's what's coming up soon, isn't it? How long is that out?
That's not until September 22nd. The Battle of the Rock Lotto.
One night of fun.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's pretty difficult. I like singing. I know how to play like guitar and sing around a campfire, but I haven't played a whole lot with like bands, and it's a lot different when you're playing it. I know the tempo I want to go at, and when other people are playing it, and then there's times where I'm like, because we're gonna do Thunder Rolls, and there's certain noise cues that I'm used to, and when I don't hear them, I forget to start. So that's the challenge. I'll
Yep.
get it.
You'll get it. That's why you practice.
Yeah, I've been singing a lot at home.
Singing in the shower.
It's a shower, man. No, I don't know. We'll see. We're practicing tonight.
What?
Hopefully, got a bunch of us there. I just want it to be a good, fun experience. It's something that I've never really done. I did a little bit when I was like 19. I did country music singing, and I did it with random bands, and I was able to do that. But the difference with this is it's so random, the type of people you get. So we've got one guy that is amazing on the saxophone. And then we've got another guy that he's good on the bass, but he's only played for 2 years. So he's good at reading the tablature and getting that. But then the guy on the sax will be like, "Are you guys in concert C or D?" And then the other guys are like, "We're in tab D." Like the tablature, whatever that is.
You don't know what a tab is?
No, I'm just like,
I'm
because
like,
the other guy's like, he was trained to read sheet music and concert.
traditionally trained, yeah.
So like when they're like, no, I'm playing in this, and they'll play a little bit, and he'll be like on a saxophone, he'll be like, okay, yeah. So you guys are like 2 notes down, got it, okay. And I'm just like, this is like mind blowing.
Right. Yeah, I'm a self-taught, not guitar player because you have to actually learn to play the guitar, but I was self-taught, tried to learn to play the guitar. And that's how I learned to play was through tab. I can't read sheet music. But when my daughter went to the guitar lessons, I started to pick up on it, but it never made much sense to me, reading sheet music. I could never fully figure it out, but I never really set myself to it.
So most sheet music still has the chords at the top of it when you're doing the guitar. And the only reason why I like the sheet music is it lets me know if I'm strumming up or down. If the notes are going up, you're more likely going up because it's starting to go higher. And I like fiddling around with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can read sheet music for like guitar and stuff, but I can't read it for like saxophone or piano.
But you can read the notes. You know what the notes say,
Yeah.
right? Like
I learned to play guitar on using a piano.
Because the guitar is a piano. Like, well, a lot of people don't realize that when you look at a piano or a guitar, you can play anything on a piano. You can probably play it on a guitar. They're almost identical. The piano just has a bigger range of the same sets of notes.
And you can play 2 parts.
Right.
So like a guitar, it's hard to play 2 parts.
Because you only got 2 hands.
Well, piano, you only have 2 hands. But it's because you can do the low and the high at different times.
I
like that we were like surfing in
right.
here.
My wife, when when I first started dating my wife, she was in high school. She had this big keyboard in her room, and I had been fiddling around with the guitar, and she was getting ready. We were going to go do something, and she had all of the keys on her keyboard marked out for what note they were. So I'm like, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, C over here and a C over here. A C sharp is the same as a C flat. They're the same note at different octaves. So I'd be pushing keys, the same keys, just steps down. She's like, you know how to play the piano? No.
Should have been like, yeah.
But I do know that a C over here is the exact same note as over here. It's just at a different octave. That's why when you hear somebody playing the piano and their hands are apart, if you watch them, they're moving the exact same steps apart because they're playing the same notes, just different. It's really crazy weird.
I just, for some reason, I pictured you being like, just like, do you know how to play piano? And they're like, yeah. And then you play like chopsticks.
Nope. Da-da. 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 Yeah. No.
I did like, I always used to like when you go to a nicely tuned piano and you'd be like, and you'd be like, and it sounded like you were about to play something, but then that's all you could do.
Right. Because I can't play the piano. But if you mark out all the notes, I can hit the 2 C's and the 2 D's at the same time, and it sounds like I know what I'm doing.
Nope. Well, I mean, speaking about notes, on that note.
Note?
Yeah, note. You've been listening to Average Rants here. KNMC
90.1
FM.
I almost jumped that.
And we're about to lose Derek. He's choked on a hot rod.
Hot tamale. Somebody had McDonald's in here.
It wasn't me. I know that there are some students. We did get some people signing up. So, but we are going to head off because I've got to go to band practice. And that starts in 2 minutes.
Band practice.
Thanks for listening. Here's your fun music.
Fun music.